Well, we'll see how this goes. We have a neighbor that is being very inconsiderate and booked a reservation next door without headphones. So that feedback you're hearing, that one, is our neighbor.
Meanwhile, "11 minutes later,
I think he's settling down.
1 eternity later."
Let's get into it.
Haven't you heard on the internet, girl?
Hello, hello, hello. Hi, hello, and welcome back to my podcast. I always like to have my hard drive out. The real ones know who this is. This is what I'm deeming the season finale of It's Not Personal, You're Just Doing It Wrong. We made it. 6 episodes. 6 episodes in 2 months. I'm into it. I love it. I'm having so much fun. The therapists were right. The aforementioned therapists in episode 1 that told me that I needed to get a journal. Y'all were right. But this is such a better journal. I love this journal. So yeah, I'm so happy to be here doing this for episode 6. The holidays are rapidly approaching, so I am going to take the rest of the year off to figure out what I'm going to be doing with the rest of my life. I unfortunately do have to part ways with the LA Public Library, the Octavia Lab one more time. We love her. The Octavia Lab. I can't be dealing with whatever's happening next door. We had issues last week. This week, running into the same issue of white men who think they're DJs and are wearing sports jerseys in public on days that the sport is not playing. So with that in mind, it sounds to be like a local, not locals, but like a location situation. Check out your local public library. I think it's an LA thing that I'm struggling with. But I'm not going to be a very good DJ if you don't own headphones. I don't know what's going on there, but they've seemed to quiet down. So today on the season finale of It's Not Personal, You're Just Doing It Wrong, we are going over the ins and outs of this year and next. I guess we're talking about the ins and outs of next year. Things we're leaving behind in 2025 and things that we are welcoming in to 2026. I'm also going to be making my first official documented pop culture prophecies and predictions of what we're going to be seeing in media and pop culture next year. But first, I do have to kind of start on a downer. We have to address the elephant in the room, which you probably didn't even know was in the room, but I'm going to tell you now. I lost my job. I did. I lost my job. I want to talk about it because the feedback I got is not the first time I've gotten this feedback. It is important, I think, for me to reflect and take accountability of my own actions. This is my journal, my audio-visual journal. So we have to discuss it here so I can hear it out loud and hear myself say these things out loud so I can help myself get through this. But yeah, I was fired, capital D, fired. sucks. It sucks. But like I said, HR, don't worry. This is not going to be a bashing on y'all. I'm not here to get my revenge. This is not my tell-all. I'm also not... it is not lost on me that I am contractually obligated to not speak poorly of y'all. I know what I signed. Okay, so that being said, I lost my job 3 days after my birthday, which, gotta say, losing your job is always less than ideal, but 3 days after your birthday is kind of a mind fuck. To go from celebration to very, very sad in a moment of hours feels quite rough. If you ask me, it was a bamboozle. Was not anticipating this in any way. It was just a weekly one-on-one with my direct report. And there was HR when I signed on to the Zoom link. Gotta love a surprise from HR. I can't think of another thing. And I was like, that was coming off of my birthday in itself was rough. I tried to go to a DJ event. I went to see Honey Dijon at the Palladium, thinking like, oh, I could go see a DJ because I'm old and I can't stay out till 2 a.m. anymore. So the DJ appearances that I'm at are zero, less than zero if that's even possible. But the Palladium, I love the Palladium. That's my favorite venue. So I thought this was definitely going to be treated more like a concert, like a band would be treated. So we roll up at the dive bar next door around 8 o'clock, have a few drinks, some snacks. We show up around 9:30. Doors, by the way, were at 8. So we're rolling in at 9:30 thinking like, oh, life is great. Everything's good. Like, we know what we're doing. Because obviously no self-respecting headliner is going to go on before 9 o'clock. And we knew that this was a DJ. So like 9:30 is the perfect time to arrive. By the way, we just wanted to dance. I wanted a controlled capacity dance floor. I was not interested in going to WeHo and potentially being pickpocketed. I quite literally wanted there to be a capacity so I could not be too cramped, but still dance the night away with my lover. Egg on our face. Standard DJ rules applied. She didn't go on till maybe 11:30. We wouldn't know because we left. Mind you, we had been drinking since 8 o'clock. So, like, I was pretty much under the assumption that, like, I was already going to be heading home around 11:30. So my assumption was wrong. I was wasted by 11 o'clock because we also knew the bartender working that night. So I was knocking back free tequila gingers. And of course, because it was my birthday, it's my birthday. Had to let everybody know it's my birthday. So yeah. By Tuesday or Wednesday, whenever I got fired, I was still hungover. 5 days later. It was on a Saturday. I was being responsible. So I was still trying to just gather my bearings. And then there's HR sitting on the Zoom across from me. And I knew I was in trouble. But I did not think that I was going to be losing my job. I knew I was in trouble, but I did not know I was going to be losing my job. Because was I put on a performance improvement plan? No. I was put on a weekly one-on-one with my direct report, which I should have already had in the first place. And nothing ever came up in those about my professionalism or my behavior. So I thought I was in the clear. Mind you, these one-on-ones, the last 3 of them were canceled. So I really thought things were going hunky-dory. Egg on my face. I begged for the first time in my life for a job. Please, I really love it here. Like, I actually really enjoy... We'll get to that. I really didn't enjoy my job, actually. Let's be fair. I loved some of the people I worked with, and it was a very cool experience to get to make YouTube videos for a living, especially when you had parents who said you couldn't do that, that it wouldn't be possible. So that was a fun 2 years to be able to do that. But yeah, after I was told that my unprofessionalism and bad attitude were just unteachable and just beyond, we were at an impasse. Like, give me a break. You didn't even try. Like, isn't this your job? Isn't this what you do for a living? Like, enforce the rules. And you just didn't like the fact that you had to do your job, which is exactly what I told her. And I lit that place up. My boyfriend was in the room because I didn't know. Like, we share an office. We work from home. So, like, I wasn't like, get out of the room. It was too late. Oh, he heard me cussing him out. He was like, what just happened? I was like, yeah, I lost my job. I lost my job. I lost my job. But listen, I don't deny the claims. Like I said, like, again, I'm not bashing on y'all. It does reek. I gotta say, it reeks of wrongful termination. But that is neither here nor there because I signed the document, I think. But I don't deny the claims. It's giving very much like getting a ticket for going 72 on the freeway. Nobody's going 65. I know 65 is the speed limit. So yes, officer, I was speeding. I was going 72. But they were going 80. That person was going 72. Like, why am I getting pulled over? And I'm not even getting a ticket. I'm getting my car impounded. Like, I lost my means to pay rent over just like what? A bad attitude? Stop proving me right. Stop hiring people that suck at their job so then I don't have a bad attitude. And then it's my job to check my attitude at the door. No, I've never been that way. I'm not a team sports person. I don't like that shit. So yeah, it's probably best that I left. But yeah, I guess, you know, it's that, like I said, like, I guess when you're the red sports car, ooh, I'm wearing red today too, unplanned. When you're the red sports car going 72 and a 65, it looks like you're going a lot faster. A lot more eyes are on you. So yeah, did I have a bad attitude? Did I respect authority? Of course not. I was raised by Tina Fey, Amy Poehler, Julia Louis-Dreyfus. I was taught to punch up. I would never, ever, ever treat a PA poorly or anyone that is any position beneath me that has less fortunate circumstances or less pay than me. Would I ever make them feel uncomfortable in the workplace? Now, if you're making more than me and you're in charge of making some certain decisions that I voiced might not be the smartest, and then they prove to not be the smartest, I'm going to make a stink. And that's my personal journey. That is not a pleasant person to be around. It does not work in the corporate ladder to punch up. I understand. You got a sports car. I'm the sports car in this situation, by the way. And who wouldn't want to be a sports car? Me, honestly. I'd rather be a four-wheel drive, go out in nature. It's just so ironic to me that our head of HR can openly talk about other employees in an open space, but I chime in on the conversation and then it's like become inappropriate. Like, get a meeting room. If you weren't talking to me, I don't care. I can hear you, so I'm going to respond. I'm getting fired for that? Unprofessional. The VP of production talks every shoot about getting home to snort a fucking martini and boof a line of Coke. But we're moving on because this year in the Chinese zodiac is the year of the snake. And I'm being a snake right now, and I don't want to be a snake, so I'm going to shed my skin. Because next year, when is Chinese zodiac? February 17th. Yeah. The year of the horse. Look at that horse, look at that horse, look at that horse. So we are shedding our skin. We are no longer participating in this snaky behavior. Timing is everything. This is not the first time I have been given this feedback. This is not the first time I've lost a job over a bad attitude. So I do need to reflect. I do need to edit myself, given my surroundings, my environment. Fair. But it's not lost on me that I got this job like 2 years to the date of my firing. Before that, I was freelancing. I was a freelance casting producer. And I had been doing that for about 2 years. And the job I was working at, it was kind of like an involuntary leave as well. They felt that I had outgrown the position and that it was really time for me to freelance. Which is fair because it was during COVID. I was working as an executive assistant. We had laid off all of our office workers, so I was having to pick up all that slack and like sort mail and do all these other things like receptionist work that I was not interested in doing because it was not in the job description that I applied to. And so I had a bad attitude about that. Cost me my job. 2 years. Wa-bam, wa-bam, wa-bam. And then I don't know how many years ago, but it was around this time too when I got kicked out of engineering school because I also didn't care about engineering. So I'm seeing this trend. I'm not like, oh, how could this happen to me? If I don't like doing something or I don't respect you, you're going to know it. And there's quite literally nothing I could do about it, babes. It's on my face. You can smell it on me. It's probably coming out of my pores. I don't know what to tell you. So, yeah. We're moving forward with the work ethic and the determination that is more in line with the year of the horse. So let's talk about the ins and outs of 2026. What are we leaving behind? What are we bringing into the new year? Let's think about that for a second. For starters, toxic workplaces are being left behind in 2025 for me personally, and I think for the rest of us. I want to be careful with what I say because I guess it's just moderation. I'm sick and tired of working. What I wanted to say was I'm sick and tired of working and busting my butt and working these long hours to make somebody else rich. However, like, I'm not an economist. I'm not into finances, but like we can't just all walk around being our own bosses. I don't know what that would do to the economy or what that would look like. But I know people that are just made for the corporate life. Like they can just, it's incredible. It's like their eyes roll back in their head and they can just be like, yeah, about those deliverables and this and this. Like, ugh. I could never. But some people get it. And we need those people. So I don't know. But for me, I'm leaving behind the capitalistic machine. Let's leave it behind for a year. For me, let's see what 2026 has to offer, because I have some predictions, and I think we're going to quickly see the evaporation of this corporate 9 to 5. things that are in the grind. Blech. Blech. The grind. The grind never stops, baby. Rise and grind, baby. I hate it. I hate that term. However, I think 2026 is the year to grind. It's the year of the horse, like we mentioned. It's time to put our noses down and figure out what it is that we like, what makes us tick, and go balls to the walls, full send that thing this year and see what comes of it. If nothing, we pivot, we figure it out, life moves on. I'm not saying invest your entire life savings into this thing, but I think too many times we have an idea of what we think would be fun. Making a podcast, doing a live stream, writing a book, learning how to surf, learning a new skill. And you kind of start to put things together. We're trying to make a movie. Maybe you get the budget together. Maybe you realize how expensive wetsuits are and lessons and all that stuff. And so you're realizing how expensive learning to surf is going to be, and you kind of bail on it. Like, this is the time to grind and follow through. If you were considering glass blowing, you better do your research, find whatever works for you, whether it's a nonprofit organization, a worker space, a private instructor. You better exhaust every option in how to blow glass this year. That's what's in. That's the grind, baby. Not burnout, not excessive hours, not waking up at 4 a.m. and taking a fucking ice bath. That's out. Ice baths are out. They're cold, they're uncomfortable, they hurt my skin, and I've yet to see any actual scientific data from somebody other that's not named Chad. Sorry, whoa. I don't like ice baths. Gatekeeping is out. Within the context of LA, specifically, gatekeeping looks like this. To be successful down here, they say it's all about who you know. It's all about the network. It's all about the Rolodex and who you know. It doesn't matter if your phone number is saved in somebody's contacts. If a job opportunity arises for you, you're not getting a call. That's actually not how it works down here. It's leveled up, and you have to pick somebody and become obsessed with that person. Because you need to be on that person's mind 24/7. You need to make yourself a nuisance. So it's in their best interest just for you to stop calling them to get you the job. No one is networking and giving people gigs anymore out of the goodness of their heart, or like, oh, I thought about Susie. She loves Vulpixes. I'm gonna tap Susie and see if she wants to make this doc. No, instead, we're going to reach out to Ken Burns first. We're going to reach out to any Tom, Dick, or Harry. Even though we know Susie loves Vulpixes, has the skills, but because she doesn't have the specific resume you're looking for, or hasn't already made this film about these plants instead, like... Everything is a version of a version of a version of a version of a version. Everyone wants their Barbie. That's how Wicked came about, because Barbie was such a hit. And it was like, what's our Barbie? And then so they made their bright, vibrant Barbie movie just with a different story. Like, instead of picking the person who loves The Wizard of Oz, or Vulpixes in my example, we're going to pick an expert on this plant because we liked the way his movie looked. So we just want a regurgitation of this movie, but instead of it being about plants, we want it about Vulpixes because we saw that this movie made a lot of money. So now we want this movie to make a lot of money. Ew. Ew. No? That's out. That's out. And is that gatekeeping? I'm going to bring it back to gatekeeping. Oh, because yeah, it's close the door behind you. This is my little secret. Oh, I figured out a way to make money. Everyone is fighting over such a finite amount of money. Instead of it being about the art and the community, we are losing the plot, which is why community building is in. We want to build a collective. I don't know if I should share this with you guys yet, but I think I'm a witch. And this might just be my interpretation of what I'm feeling inside, which is that I'm a witch. But it could just be the need to build community, because I feel like I need to find my coven. I need to find my gaggle of women so we can cackle and laugh and have a great time. For me, it's talking about pop culture and politics and reality TV. For you, it could be underwater basket weaving or Vulpixes. But find your community that supports and celebrates your passions and hold on to those people. Who cares if they are currently working a job that they could help get you one? Who cares if how many followers they have? We need to redirect the story, redirect the intention, the focus on the creation, on the art itself. So then we can bring it back to the community and the betterment of others, right? Because if we're constantly trying to make the coin, then we're effed. So I want to build community and network, not in a way of how can you help me, but what do you do? What do you like? And do we share interests? And then holding on to that person while you continue doing that. And then all of the people that like the same things and want to make a movie or want to create a softball team or what have you, you have all these people ready to go. You don't have to convince them. You don't have to sell them on it. Community building. Okay. Predictions for 2026. It's time for Mama to cook. Because I claim to be the pop culture prophet, honey. So I need to make some predictions, some prophecies. Okay? So we're going to get into what I think we're going to start to see in terms of trends, pop culture, media next year. We're entering a realm where vintage and nostalgia are much more than Furbies and Tamagotchis. Like, we're talking culture, we're talking ideologies that are becoming vintage. Like, I remember when I was in my mushroom taking, hiking Big Sur days, and I was looking back on the 70s and, you know, the trends and the One Love and all of that stuff. Like, it's more than just the fashions and the tie-dye and the bucket hats. It's culture. I already said this. Ideologies. I am repeating myself. But I think what we're also going to start to see is some counterculture as well, because up until this point, all we've really seen is kind of like the beige agenda, numbing everybody. I mentioned last episode, the color of the year is a shade of white. So we're going to see all these different fashion houses and furniture companies or interior design, technology, cell phones, the next iPhone, laptops, computers, hard drives, all are going to be influenced by that color of the year. But what that also tells me is we're going to have a lot of counterculture as well, because from what I'm seeing in the current zeitgeist is a lot of outrage. There's a lot of people that love it. The Kim Kardashians and the Joanna Gaineses of them all are going to be super excited by this color and are going to see wild success in their lines that support this. There's a lot of people that are very confused and are very aware of what's going on. They have the media literacy that we've been talking about in the past. And so I think we're going to see these two things play out. We're obviously heading towards a civil war. the country is getting more and more divided. Where the line is drawn, I don't know. What is it going to be that breaks the back? I don't think it's going to be the camel's back is not going to break because the color of 2016 is white. It's probably going to be a lot more economically fueled, human rights fueled, as we see women's rights attacked, as we see gay and trans rights attacked, as we see immigration rights attacked. So we're going to see these two things kind of competing, I think, next year. And what we're going to see who prevails and how, and maybe this race lasts longer, multiple years. I don't know. But like, it feels very much like with the Epstein files, you've got Marjorie Taylor Greene now resigning over the Epstein files. She's all of a sudden this incredible feminist. No, she's trying to run for president, you guys. Anyhow, that's not what I'm trying to say. But people are picking sides. And as we continue to pick sides and as the country gets more polarized, we are headed towards a civil war. But right now, I think what that manifests as in the early stages is, yeah, this kind of competition, the hipster movement versus the mainstream. So with that, I think comes trashier TV. You've got basic TV. We saw Overcompensating, I Love LA, All Is Fair, all getting second seasons next year. But then I think we're also going to see some really crazy golden age television and like really see what TV was all about. I think we're going to have a resurgence in reality TV. What that looks like, by the way, with like the bidding war, we kind of have to have a quick conversation about the developing story that is the bidding war over Warner Bros. Discovery. For those who aren't reading the trades, you should know that the monopolies that we were taught about in grade school and in high school that weren't allowed to exist, they are alive and thriving in entertainment. And there's about to be one media company that exists, which sounds very Big Brother and very fascist and very scary if all of our media and information is coming from one wallet. Scary. But no, what I wanted to talk about is the golden age of television when we think of reality TV and like Tila Tequila, A Shot at Love, Flavor of Love, a lot of the most ratchet, unhinged, buck wild reality TV that we've seen yet, hopefully. Because the difference between reality TV and scripted is these are real people. They don't play a character when they're on screen. These are their actual lives. Amanda Batula and Kyle Cook have to still live together during Summer House when they're not filming because they are actually married. Like that's not a character. Like so things going on in their personal lives are carrying over into these seasons. So here are my references and sightings to why we're returning to our roots when it comes to reality and unscripted TV. Rachel Zoe is returning to Bravo for the first time in years, decades, joining the ladies on The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, which just premiered. We've got Vicky returning for season 20 of Real Housewives of Orange County. We've got a brand new cast of Vanderpump Rules. We've got the 10th season of Summer House kicking off. These are like crescendo vibes. Like this is when in reality TV you start to see the casts shift up. Like we followed Vanderpump forever, but from Tequila Katie to It's Not About the Pasta to I don't know what's wrong with you, but I'll take a Pinot Grigio, please. Oh my goodness. We're going to follow pregnancies, divorces, breakups, tears for the next 10 years with this cast potentially. The shedding of the snake, the new workhorses, what's going to happen? No one cares about The Bachelor anymore. Everyone cares about Love Island. We're having a Buffy resurgence. There's a new Buffy series coming out. So yeah, I think we're going to see basic and we're going to see crazy. And then I think YouTube is going to become a really big space. I think a lot more people are going to be so many people do, which blows my mind. I haven't crossed over yet. But I think we're going to see a lot more media consumed on YouTube. Because when you think about it, podcasts these days are kind of starting to become like the modern day late night. It's the modern day press circuit. We're not actually having conversations anymore on podcasts. It's here for someone to sit across from you, for them to promote their product or project, whatever's coming up. And we share some pleasantries and we keep it stepping, rinse and repeat. So like, you could take it back to radio, right? Radio used to be what was true. And then from radio was TV. And then from TV came digital. So like everything is kind of like moving, everything shifts as time progresses. It's called modernization. So I really think, you know, when you see heavies like Alana Glazer, Amy Poehler coming out with podcasts, it's because, well, first of all, they won't hire women in late night, but it's because they don't want to be beholden to these mega conglomerates that are trying to call all the shots. We're going to see evolution take place all across pop culture. Even like technology. I think people are going to start getting really bored with their iPhones. The iPhones are going to look even more basic than they did before. And we're going to start to see other phone companies pop up that make little mini phones again, or ones that swivel or slide again with keyboards. Like, bring back the BlackBerry. Like, I think both are going to have to exist for a while, and they're going to be competing. Just this like basic versus cutting edge or counterculture. One thing I'm very happy that's going to be back in 2026, I can tell you, is girl groups. If I'm stating the obvious, welcome to the club. If not, buckle up, honey. Because you thought we were insufferable with the Cheetah Girls. This is bigger. This is bigger. Groups to look out for. Cat's Eye, already blowing up. Major group. They're in LA this weekend. Tickets are going for $800 at minimum. They have 10 songs. That is almost $100 per song you are spending. And you better believe each one is less than 3 minutes long. And I'm here for it. I won't be there because my ass is Baroque, and I just told you I lost my job. Other groups to look out for: Girl Set, Say Now, incredible. But then we are elevating it. We're leveling up in 2026. Kokona from XG just announced that she is trans mask non-binary. Coming from a Korean idol, that's like insane. Like never, like the fact that they're even allowing her, which sounds ignorant coming out of my mouth. Like, I'm not shocked. I think she should exist. But the fact that a group like a K-pop idol program is allowing this is showing that times are changing, and we are willing to change the times. Money talks. Money always talks in this industry. So these girls are generating, and these groups of individuals are making so much money that the K-pop idol organizations are willing to look the other way. I don't think for a second that they are going to encourage more trans folks in girl groups. Hopefully, that's obviously the goal, assuming it can make them money. But yeah, girl groups are back. We don't want any of your singer-songwriter bullshit. We are done with the Gracie Abrams. We are done with the Lana Del Reys. For now. The Sabrina Carpenters. For now. It's about girl groups. It's about choreography. It's about hair. It's about outfits. 2026. And yeah. Those are my pop culture prophecies for the new year. But yeah, that's like all I really had to share today. And just to thank everyone that has watched. Please continue to watch. I'm so excited. I really want to put together something to really transform this show for season 2. Maybe interviews. Definitely a new location. I think I'm going to start filming out of my house, which I don't understand how that's going to be any quieter with the 3 dogs and all the garbage trucks and everything else. We'll see. But yeah, Year of the Horse is upon us. It's time to shed what we don't need and time to focus and grind on what is important. That's what I'm going to be doing over the holidays and downtime. I wish you guys all the happiest of holidays and thank you all for watching. And I can't wait to show you what I put together for our first episode of season 2 in the new year. Until then, see ya.